Did you watch the Golden Globes? The Golden Globes apparently were last night, and there was a big display of celebrities decrying murder in Minneapolis. It's something that we've heard a lot about. Of course, we heard it mostly from Democrat politicians. Murder.
It is egregious. It was an outright murder.
What we saw today is a murder.
That ICE agent murdered a woman in Minneapolis.
And when I look at
Your
that
job.
video, I see murder.
Maybe people felt like that is licensed, people less knowledgeable, presumably less intelligent than elected officials, people in pop culture, people at the Golden Globes, people who feel they can be reckless with language, no consequences, people like sports figures, NBA coach Steve Kerr or Doc Rivers.
You know, what happened in Minnesota was a straight-up murder, in my opinion, and it's awful. You know, this lady was probably trying to go home, and she didn't make it home, and that's really sad. So the whole ICE thing it's a travesty. You know, it's clearly, to me, we're attacking brown people.
Murder, repeated ad nauseum, from big stages, with people with big platforms, with deep pockets, and big money. And you wonder, does that kind of recklessness ever face accountability? You see, on the other end of that accusation is a normal, middle-class, federal agent doing his job that day. And you have to wonder if that accountability at some point for these reckless, rich celebrities isn't defamation, isn't a lawsuit for suggesting that he is a murderer. Well, to answer that, let's in part take a look at the definition of murder in Minnesota. First-degree murder requires premeditated intent to cause the death of a human being. It gets a little less in terms of requirement and the heightened scrutiny when you get to second- and third-degree murder, which can include premeditated or also heat of the moment. Now, does that add up to exactly how this agent is being described in the public? Is he not being defamed? Without a conviction, without an arrest, without an indictment, without anything to back up the idea that he is a murderer. To answer that question, let's speak to attorney and candidate for Congress, Jace Yarborough, here on our sets in Dallas, Texas. Jace, great to have you here today.
Hey, Will, thanks for having me back. I really appreciate it.
Do you think what you just heard from Doc Rivers, Steve Kerr, is defamation?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would encourage this ICE agent who acted bravely and in self-defense to consider very seriously whether he brings that suit, because this is a typical play from the left's playbook, right? You remember what Jimmy Kimmel said about, for example, Charlie Kirk's accession, right? Lying to millions of people about these tragic events. The facts here are obvious, right? There's video. You can see exactly what happened. This agent was acting in self-defense. What he did fits none of the definitions of murder under Minnesota law or any other state's law, and he should absolutely bring this suit. I would encourage him to do so, in part because the left is used to getting away with this sort of thing. You know, unfortunately, as conservatives, as patriotic Americans, we're not out looking for a lawsuit. Our first response isn't to go sue people, but that is the left's response. And if we continue to stand back, the left will come for us, as they're attempting to do now.
Well, that kind of recklessness, and make no mistake, whether or not that man is ultimately accused officially of murder, to call it out now is a form of extreme, in my opinion, recklessness from the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. And I have to wonder, why then do they feel licensed with that recklessness? And the answer is they never face the music. They never get sued. Why doesn't anyone ever sue them for defamation?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think part of it goes back to the fact, again, that patriotic Americans aren't out to cause division, right? Our first response is not to go and do something like file a lawsuit. But we're in a point now where the left has shown that, you know, when the American people stand up and try to take their country back by voting for mass deportations, for example, the left will unleash lunatics on us, pay for them. And then when we attempt to do something about it, they'll use their state attorneys generals. You may have heard what, you know, Keith Ellison, the radical, crazy attorney general of Minnesota, has said about this ICE agent, right? He said, gleefully almost, there is no statute of limitations on murder. So when the Trump administration is out of office, we intend to basically fully prosecute, you know, this ICE agent, this brave ICE agent. And so, you know, one of the reasons I'm running for Congress is to make sure that, given the stakes in 2026, we have people who are going to stand with the president and with the American people to take our country back.
All right. You know, I wondered why the Border Patrol officers who were accused of whipping Haitian migrants never sued the President of the United States at that time, Joe Biden, or the Vice President, Kamala Harris. They literally accused them of running like plantation slave owners and whipping Haitian migrants. And I've wondered why those Border Patrol agents haven't sued for defamation. defamation. I hope I don't have to wonder why this ICE agent wouldn't also force some type of accountability, because it spreads like a viral disease from Steve Kerr to Doc Rivers, from Jasmine Crockett to Ilhan Omar, until it's just accepted as truth, and it's not. That's the point of defamation. It's a lie. And there's nowhere to go get your reputation back. Thank you, Jace, for being with us.
Thanks, Will.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.